what is it that makes a great plant for the garden? I suppose it depends on what you want, right? Are you into your food plants? Do you prefer foliage or flowers? Or are you after plants for the insects and the birds? Then again, you might be after it all. One man obsessed with such conundrums is Jimmy Turner, Director at the Royal Botanic Gardens, Sydney. What role do you see the Botanic Gardens playing in helping gardeners select appropriate plants?
I think it's our job to communicate gardening and horticulture to the public, but really the trial garden, my hope is I can send gardeners to the retail nurseries preloaded with a little chance of success. Because I think if you show up and you've got a plant there you know that we've done well with, you're going to go home and have some success. And a good first success or any success in the garden world means you're going to keep gardening.
Exactly, and then that just feeds a real.
Continues to grow, pun intended. I think people really are.
On the city side of the Royal Botanic Gardens, plant experiments have been established. Here, a multitude of cultivars and species are being trialled to find some great performers for home gardeners. With hundreds and hundreds of plants to choose from, how did you determine which ones were going to make it into the trial garden?
So really the first ones I went out for was, we went shopping. We got online, ordered a few things from a few nurseries, got in the car, drove to a few nurseries, bought some stuff, things I thought would be good to trial, good to test that I was curious about for the gardens.
So it was literally a case of just going shopping.
It really was, which is the best job ever.
So why did you pick this Dianthus as part of the trial?
There's a whole new group of Dianthus breeding. They're interspecific hybrids. They're really great plants that are actually bred to have more flowers, as you can tell, just a heap of blooms.
It's loaded.
Great cut flower, full sun, great in containers, great in the garden. Actually somewhat of a perennial here in Sydney, where we actually think of as an annual. You can just cut them back after they bloom and they come back out. But just this wonderful little plant that I actually had no data on, really wasn't sure how it would do here, so we decided to pop it in the trial garden and see how it goes.
I can smell it from here. It's like, it's got a beautiful...
It smells like cloves because it's basically just a type of carnation. And you can eat it, you can make tea out of it, you can put it in salads too.
Horticultural staff at the gardens assessed the trial plants applying certain criteria that included how well they flowered, resilience to pest and disease, and suitability to Sydney's climate. Geraniums. I mean, they're classical. They're synonymous with planter boxes, but
yes.
How are they performing in the ground here?
Well, I really want to know what was the best geranium variety for Sydney. Is it disease resistant? And these are actually some of the toughest out there. It doesn't need a lot of pruning or shaping or constant clipping back. And they are constantly covered in flowers. These never go out of bloom.
And they make it quite a nice height as well.
They're basically a perfect shrub. They actually just make a perfect little meatball in the landscape. It's a blooming machine.
How exactly have you grown the plants in these trial beds?
It's a really great question because I actually think we grow them as I believe a home gardener should. It's all about soil. Put a lot of compost in your soil. I don't care where you live, that's the answer. Water regularly as needed because these are annuals and perennials and they are going to need water when needed, not just a set regimen of every week, but when they will. And fertilize according to that particular plant's needs. And really, we don't spray. There's been no fungicide or pesticide sprayed here because I actually want to see what survives caterpillars, what survives powdery mildew. So it's all about just give them good food, give them good water, and let them do what they're supposed to do.
Wow, this is like a carpet of sweet ALYSSUM. I mean, I know this is a beneficial plant to have in your veggie garden.
Absolutely. This one's Snow Princess. 1.5 meters wide at full growth, makes a mound, will grow in full sun, light shade. We've got some here in the trial garden that have bloomed for 3 years straight. And one funny thing about it, it tastes like broccoli. You can actually add it to salads. It actually tastes like good peppery broccoli, so it's edible. But just one of those plants that's classic. You can use it in any landscape. Absolute amazing fragrance as well.
Yeah. Jimmy, this Salvia GOGO's grown to the bottom of my chin.
Almost to the top of your head, Costa. This series really does GOGO. Blooms constantly, gets huge, and never goes out of flower. Full sun, light shade.
Can it grow in a container?
Grows in a container, grows in the ground. Really, I haven't found the application I don't like for this one. Actually doesn't make a bad cut flower either.
Have you had to be wary of perhaps introducing species that could become weeds?
Absolutely. There's a lot of potential for weeds here in Sydney and Australia in general, and we actually pay attention real closely to which ones reseed in the bed. And then anything that shows any potential for that, we actually remove from the trial garden and actually put it on a list and say this one's not appropriate, and just don't promote them.
So what's next with this project?
Next to the project really is Mount Annan, our Australian Botanic Garden there, is I really want to do a comprehensive native trial. So what's the best brachyscome, scaevola, grevillea, hakea that will grow in this climate? Everything I can get my hands on. Every year there'll be a new test for new things and coming out with new results.
Perhaps there's a plant here that'll become your next favourite. Botanic gardens really are great places to get ideas. And whatever your garden, if it's a few pots or a large plot, why not get tinkering and trial a few new plants this weekend?